Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello and welcome to part 2 of Super Sunday. It's the Weekend Warriors and the turn of the SRFs. We head from Virginia International Raceway to Summit Point. For this is going to be an absolute cracker. I am Tim Cox, got Josh Wilkin, the virtual production trailer. Charles Michel, he's taking a holiday, but he's going to miss this cracker. And Ron Rounds is going to enjoy it with me. Let's get stuck into the championship standings before we get underway. Qualifying, you see, all going in the background, and it is a spicy affair, I can tell you, to whet your appetite with. In terms of the standings, Yang Jilin, he leads the way in Spec 1. We spoke to him last week. He said he's back with a bang and looking to take control of this championship, although not recording a win to his name yet. Then we have got, oh no, apologies, he won last time on Phillip Island. Jason Green, he's in second. He's gone third in the round 1, second in round 2. Can it be a win tonight for him? Marco Panero languishing by his standards, down in third after a dramatic Phillip Island last time out here on Apex Racing TV. Then it's the two Brazilians of Castro and Andalo, with Wood, Jackson, Overstreet, Fabini and McCain running out that top 10. Let's take a look across into Spec 2 now. And that's Phil Berry, after his win at his home race, stays up until a Monday morning to race the Weekend Warriors. Well, he leads the way in Spec 2. Josh just isn't far behind though. Only 12 points for the American between himself and the Australian. Ian Gibson won round 1, but is third in the championship. Then we've got Jackson, Batley, Viglini, Horniak, Conti, Sarkowski and Pocock to round on the top 10. Cross into Masters now. And it's Yogamani who leads the way. Antonio Race, Murakami, the three big hitters that they've become. But Murakami's getting cut adrift already. Nearly 30 points shy of Antonio Race in second. Then we've got Jim Brewster fourth. Then Gradwell, Cathcart, Vaccaro, Mitchell, Longin and Kurt Nunes around the top 10. Well, let's talk about how we get on in qualifying so far, Ron. It's tight.
Yeah, it is extremely tight right now, the gaps. I mean, you expect to see it with these Spec Racer 4s at this very small track, which is, of course, what Summit Point is. You expect from some very small gaps, but to have the front two right now separated by, that's barely any time. That's less than a tenth of a second separating the first 3 cars. That is absolutely ridiculous. Actually, you can stretch it to separate the first 4 cars currently in qualifying. That is insane right now. That is just some very close stuff, and I'm sure they'll convert into the race. The one really, the only slipstreaming area on this track, that start-finish straightaway, will play a big role on keeping these drivers very close. So I think the very close nature of qualifying is going to convert nicely into the race here.
Panero leads, but as you said, it's so tight at the top, only 600, so you see how outside it is, out on track, green into the back of Dantas and then into the wall. Good news, race fans and Weekend Warrior fans, we're back to, well, I'd say big grids. They were never really small. 50 drivers tonight here at Summit Point. 50. Good luck to Josh Wilkie, our producer, on trying to keep us up to date on how this one's going to unfold. Yogmani, now he did hold pole position for quite a while. 30 seconds left on the clock. Of course, the drivers can complete flying laps. They cross the line before the checkered flag comes out. Marnie, I mean, he's still got a chance, but he is only 100th, 9,000th in fact, ahead of Simon Mayer, who's third. Green, Plaver, Overstreet, I mean, all the big hitters are up the front there. Yang Shi Lin, though, disappointed from him, 13, as Mayer goes up to third. Jason Perry just sneaking in there as well. Overstreet down in 9th. Jan Sabino, previous winner, he's down in 15th, it's the Brazilian. Who else have we got who's out of place there? McCain down in 28th. Bit disappointed by his own standards. And keeping going down. Brad Cathcart, 43rd. Oh, wow, that's extent does it for Alan McCain. Of course, moved up to Spec 1 now. The reigning Spec 2 champion, in fact. Actually, that's another driver who's out of place. It's Vandro Dantas. And Christian Kabanka, who won the Formula Fords earlier on, he's in 19th. James Walker had a cracking qualifying last time out. He's down in 22nd. Antonio Racing 24th. Of course, it started on the front row before here in Weekend Warriors from the Masters class. Always think back to that scintillating points he put in at Daytona to get onto the front row. Probably about 2 years ago now. So it's time flies when you're having fun in the Weekend Warriors. But let's see who's going to improve on their final lap. Still quite a few drivers. Get ready for this, folks. It's going to be fast. It's going to be furious here on board with James Walker, the Canadian, down in 22nd. Is it going to be an improvement? 1:18.43, his previous best as he crosses the line, cuts the timing beam, and no improvement from him. He's going to stay there. Overstreet, she remains 9th as she crosses the line. Who else is left to come? Well, that's how you do it. That is how you do it.
Finish the session in style with a bit of back damage there.
Damn right, damn right, Rod. I mean, the jump may be gone now due to the off-track physics in iRacing, but doesn't mean you can't find it in other places. Although, unfortunately, because it sends you straight into the infield and a lot of trees, it just deletes your car and sends you straight to the pits, unfortunately. But well, that's qualifying done, and so of course we've got 40 minutes of racing coming up for you as always. Pit stops involved. The drivers do have one fast repair. Hopefully no one's going to need to use it, but you never quite know. Let's see through your grid. And it's Marco Panero on pole with Yogmani joining him on the front row. Row 2 is Simon Mayer and Jason Perry up there. Fellow countryman Bobby West, he's just behind him. He starts on the third row with Jason Green. Thomas Renders, of course, snatched pole last time out at Phillip Island. Already good enough for 7th, alongside Les Blaver. Overstreet and Dantas ran out the top 10. Then it's Gardini and Castro. He'll be disappointed to finish in starting only 12th, but he's only 4/10 off the pace. Favini and Lynn, another driver, will be disappointed on row 6. Row 7 is Dan Wood and Yatabino. John Payne and Kurt Nunes making it almost as row 9, with Adam Bradshaw and Christian Kabanka running out your top 20. Row 11, that's Tom Gradwell and James Walker, while Fabio Scali has Antonio Race for company on row 12. Row 13 is Jeff Pritchard and Lucas Clement. Caleb Pocock is next to reigning Spec 2, now in Spec 1 champion Alan McCain. Row 15, that's Stephen Mitchell and Josh Justice. On to 31st and row 16, that's Ian Gibson, and he's got Lopez for company with Paul Jackson and Bradford Gould both at row 17. Now row 18 is Joe Jacobson and Gary Walbolt to make him an all-American row, with Chris Redman, a newcomer to the series. Looking forward to seeing how he gets on, and no favouritism whatsoever. On row 19 with Flavio Andalo, then it's Maurice Foyneson and Nick Carty, an all-newcomer row to make it row 20. Row 21, that's Chris Thorpe and Bob Kern with an all-Masters row in 22. It's Brad Cathcart, well down the order. Watch him coming through the field, though. He's next to Gianni Longin. Jeff Cantor as George Camillo next to him on road 23. Road 24, that's Michelle Vaglini and Enrico Torresino. Well, that's road 25. That's how we do it in the Weekend Warriors. William Zarkowski and Russ Lundberg, who's a Spec 1 driver. That could be interesting. He didn't set a time in qualifying. It doesn't look like he's joined the grid. So looking like just the 49 riders and runners here today, Ron.
That is a massive, massive field. I mean, just seeing a sea of Spec Racer Ford. That shot there, thank you, Josh, for this shot coming into turn 1 and seeing the pile of Spec Racer Fords barreling into turn 1 at pace car speeds. That is absolutely ridiculous. So this is 50 cars. It's not 50 cars at a track like Le Mans or the Nürburgring, let's say. It's at a track like Summit Point, which is a bull ring here on iRacing. Not a whole lot of room to run or hide, and not a whole lot of room just period. You know, it's a very small track, very tight circuit, and very little room to breathe, really. The only breathing spot that these drivers have is actually going into turn 1 through that long, well, it's not really long, it's just medium length, really, in the grand scheme of most circuits. Medium length front straightaway, which at this track is really the only place where these drivers can have a rest. So I'm sure having 50 cars here, that will definitely not be a resting spot, though, I believe, with this race, because I'm sure the slipstream is going to make that run going down that start-finish straightaway quite hectic.
These cars do love to slipstream, and you're right, 2 miles exactly in length this circuit, 3.2 kilometers for those fans of the metric system. Excuse me.
Screw the metric system.
Oh no! Oh no! There we go. The fan of freedom units there, or Fahrenheit, as they're more commonly known to you and I. But Porsche 911 safety car just heading around the back of the circuit. Now we're out of the S's, heading down towards Paddock Bend. Anticipation building. What is going to happen across the next 40 minutes here on Apex Racing TV? Do not go anywhere. Don't answer the door, don't answer the phone, because this is going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. As they're darting off goes the Porsche 911 safety car. And Marco Pinero controls the pace. Coming out of Paddock Bend. When will he go? Let's get ready to go racing here from Summit Point. Round 3 of the SRF Weekend Warriors, folk. He holds them, and he eventually goes as we are green and we are racing. He gets the jump on Marnie, who instantly comes across to defend the position from Simon Mayer. As they're 2 wide, they're even 3 wide in the background here, and the run down towards turn 1. Panero across onto the racing line. Is everyone going to make it through turn 1 together? Well, they're 3, even a 4 wide attempted in the background there. Bit of argy bargy as Josh Justice loses his bonnet. That's left floundering in the middle of the racetrack there. But other than that, I think we've made it through safely-ish.
Some interesting aerodynamic modifications made there for Joshua Justice's front end there, so he'll be struggling for sure. He'll probably have to file into the pits very early on, which is going to wreak havoc for his race. He's definitely going to have to repair that damage, because even though it doesn't produce a world of downforce, these cars basically produce no downforce. That's still going to play a very big role in wrecking your race going down the straightaway, so he'll have to pit. And we're seeing some more argy-bargy action there as the field goes through turns 4 and 5, which is a very tricky section of this track. We might see some incidents there throughout the race. We saw them in practice and qualifying, if we're being brutally honest. And it's a very tricky section to get right in any kind of car, whether it be a Spec Racer Ford, a Formula Ford, or even a GT3 car, which GT3 cars never run here, but you get my analogy. It's a very tricky section of corners, so we might see that flare up a little bit later on this race.
I don't think there's any might, Ron. I don't think there's any might. We're on to lap 2 already here. Panera leads from Marnie, Perry, Mayer, Green, West, Castro, Plaver, Renders, Overstreet, your top 10. Castro's at 5. Oh, big incident there. That's Antonio Racing had a brilliant start. And Bradford Gould at 13 into 21st already. As everyone, I still people Kurt Nunes losing his bonnet as he gets squeezed on the outside there, just in the background. There's a lot of the animals coming onto Noah's Ark right now. 2 by 2, a plenty here. No messing around. On board with Nunes. As we regained his bonnet, but he's down 16 places. And Stephen Mitchell just in front of us. Ian Gibson just behind. George Camillo, he's up 15 spots. He's your highest climber in this opening stages. So flying into the Brazilian on board with Jeff Richer. Definitely did lose his bonnet. And Sario Scali, we're looking back from now. He needs to really survey the damage to Richer's car. The drivers, he's moved up into Masters recently. Congratulations from birthday, Jeff. Oh, we're only 2 laps in. Enough actually to last a lifetime, but look at that 1.2 seconds. The advantage Paneri has over young Marnie in second, and Marnie's starting to feel, for me, I don't know about you, Ron, like the bottle, so the cork in the neck of a bottle. You know, that bomb is thoroughly shaken up. It is ready to explode behind Marnie.
Yeah, I definitely get that feeling right now. Manny is kind of a rolling roadblock at this stage. The cars behind are definitely probably getting a little bit impatient with Manny, who was the winner earlier today in the Formula Ford race, and right now currently running second and the first of the Masters, and he's really on an island all on his own of the Masters field. The closest Masters to him is actually Payne in P17, so just a massive gap there. Actually, I say that, it's not really a massive gap, it's a massive gap in terms of position, but really, in terms of on-track, Payne right now is just barely ahead of this battle that you see on screen now. So just that shows you the massive amount of training that we have going on right now. Is a giant train of cars, pretty much from Manny all the way back. You can see from Manny, who's 1.5 seconds back of the leader Pinero, you have to go back all the way to P25 with Joshua Justice, who's 13 seconds back of the lead. So it shows you how close this pack is right now. So I'm sure Perry might try and force the issue and possibly try and barge his way past Manny, because I'm sure he is holding up this train right now.
Down to turn 1, we come once again on lap 4 already. Green just getting ahead of Mayer, who gets done by Castro there, actually looking at it. Let's go by TK driver, just making his way through. And good luck to his teammates, who also just Furia. One Ariel Gustavo, who drives in ESL R1. Let's see. Well, they said, where do you look really right now? Yang Lin just ahead of Gardini there, which is seeing one of the few drivers not to either get promoted by a place or lose out any places at all on these opening stages. He remains 13th, but still well in the hunt. As you say, Ron, this train basically ends at Yogmani, who's in second.
I think what I need to do at this very early stage of the race is find some kind of prop. I've done this on many broadcasts I've done here on Apex. I gotta bring out a harmonica to mimic a train horn, because that's exactly what we have going on right now. Just a massive pack right now. This section of the train is sort of derailed a little bit. You can see the big gap between Overstreet and Dantas right now. Actually, Dantas and Overstreet are battling right now. That is extremely close there. A bunch of shuffling, nearly going 4 wide coming into turn 1. That is unbelievable stuff right there. Megan Overstreet gets shuffled all the way towards the back, and there's contact there. I believe Megan Overstreet might have had a roll in that, bumped one car into another, who then hit Favini there, who has a slight spin there coming through turn 1, but manages to keep it going. But unfortunately for him, he loses a bit of time there.
Yang Lin, though, the profiteer from that, though, Ron, he's up 3 places now into 11th. 3 for 1 into turn 1. Frightening stuff from the Chinese driver. Now, a little bit work it out. He's got Dantas a second up the road. I speak like it's a massive margin. Then Renders is 1.2 ahead of Dantas, who's one of a few drivers, if not the only one in the field, who's that little bubble by himself. But actually, I think this is the only driver like that is Maurice Funison, who's running 49th at the moment. Of course, he was caught up in opening lap incidents. That's why he's fallen by the wayside. Dantas just balancing the throttle there, coming out of Paddock Bend, running down to 1. As Renders starting to shape up a move here, and it's in fact Yugmani's lost a lot of places since we covered it. Perry, Castro and Green. Well, in fact, Castro's just slipped past Green, in fact, to get himself into third. Castro's up 9.
He is cutting through the field quite nicely right now, but even though Manny has dropped back, the field is still fairly close right now. I've brought back the harmonica. All aboard the Perry train. This is a massive train here, and it's actually starting to derail a bit. That's Green that went a little bit wide coming through turn 3, and he has lost out on a few places. Got Manny going past, got Meyer going past as well. Oh boy, that was Josh Green getting very close there, getting all kinds of squirrely coming through turn 5. He nearly hit the back of Meyer up ahead, and then had a massive amount of oversteer cranked into that thing. Countersteer, I should say. He had a massive amount of oversteer, which caused him to crank a lot of countersteer into that thing to keep it going. That was a great save there from Green, but he loses out on some time quite badly there.
Ronald, I'm going to have to invest in a full-on, freight train horn for you right now, my friend, because that's the only way to describe this, and the way it's hauling its way through. But Panero, he's just gone. He's checked out of the front. 3.8 seconds over Jason Perry. He's no slouch, but he's about to lose seconds. Looking in the background there. Here comes Dudu Castro, not hanging around. That's 10 places he's gained now. That's pedal to metal for the Brazilian. Time to make up, work to do. He's really got to go to work to drag this pack up to the back of Marco Panero, who's sailing off into the distance, pretty much 4 seconds clear. And look who's trying to come along with him, trying to pick him off one by one. It's Yangshi Lin, winner last time out of Phillip Island. Work to do for him. He needs some of that fortune that Castro's had in these opening stages.
I'll tell you one thing, that suggestion you have of buying a train horn for these broadcasts, a train horn won't be stored in a plastic container that just cut my index finger when I tried to put the harmonica back in the box. So I've got some war wounds from this race already, and so do a lot of the drivers up and down this field with some of the bump drafting going on, which is something that we should keep in mind with this. We see a little bit of bump drafting in the Spec Racer Fords all across iRacing, whether it be here on the Weekend Warriors races, whether it be on the Ray Esports broadcasts here on Apex that are on Tuesday nights here on Apex Racing TV, or regardless of what series you're running in with the Spec Racer Fords, you see a little bit of bump drafting, but that is a very dangerous game for these drivers to play, because you do have that grill opening up at the front, which is very narrow, very tiny. You don't want to bump draft anyone too hard because you might get damage, but this man, Mani, does not have any damage, not to his ego or his car at all, as he goes for the double move there. So get back in front of this train, overtakes Castro and Perry going into one.
Lovely little move there from the Swiss driver. He's a wily old fox, so he's been around the block a few times, certainly in the Weekend Warriors, as Bobby Wett's riding the curbs there, trying to turn that Spec Racer Ford into a bucking Bronco. Dicing with death. I mean, so easy to lose the rear end. All the weight of these cars is at the rear, the gearbox, the engine. It's similar to a Porsche 911, although, as many may argue, that's where the similarities end. Full stop. But, I mean, if you're these drivers, I mean, they're all playing it safe. We're seeing classic Weekend Warriors driving style right now. They're all in this pack. They're all sticking together with one another. And I'm sure a bit of fuel saving going on. Everyone, an orderly affair. Although, I'm just going to keep an eye on lap times when they come across the line, Rob, because just looking at that group behind, Dan Wood into the pits, that is very early. I mean, we'll get home from the fuel they will take on board. There's already a quarter of race distance, but very early for the Mexican. As the 333 there, up on the Jackson, having his rear tyres replaced. That's George Camillo, who's really been in the wars early on. But for me, the one to watch out for in all of this is the fuel-saving and fuel-strapped extraordinaire driver that is Jason Green, the American company big overall. Fifth in class, using Marnie, the lone Masters driver, being right in amongst them. But seeing the lap times there last time around, Overstreet's catching, albeit by a tenth.
Oh boy!
Oh, there we go. Big incident. Big incident. Drivers caught up in that one. Castro, well, slammed on the anchors, managed to get through, but that's brought that Overstreet group back into the equation, and York Marnie from second is going to find himself down in 17th as Alan McCain just throws it around the outside there.
Whose front clip is that is stuck on the outside of turn 5 there? The front end of their car has been ripped off in that accident. I believe that might have been Perry's front end there that is gone, so he has sustained some kind of damage that that car is damaged, and maybe we'll definitely have to get that repaired during the pit stop. But that was a good point that you mentioned there before we saw that incident there, and as fuel saving is going to be very important for these drivers. We saw it a little bit in the other Formula Fords broadcast earlier today, and I think we'll see it again here in the Spec Racer Fords as well. We're going to get a replay to hear see this incident. There's Monty. Yeah, you can just see you can see the front end there on the outside. Manny goes through it quite nicely there. Thankfully for him, iRacing physics are a bit more forgiving than regular physics. Otherwise, he'd probably have a face full of that front bumper there. But still, it's just a lot of drivers still being fairly aggressive, trying to shuffle for positions. But Josh Green is a man who has not been very aggressive throughout this race, still running in P3, and is probably getting much better fuel mileage than our leader Pinero, who right now is about 7.5 and nearly 8 seconds ahead of Castro in P2. So I gotta imagine his fuel mileage is getting hurt quite badly here.
Oh, argy bargy, bump and grind. Kabanka slipping his way past Yangshi Lin. Overstreet right behind them, but they're losing time. Oh, hold on. Castro, Perry into the pits. I saw in live pictures, Ron, your suspicions were right. Jason Perry did lose his front end, so that's why he's heading the pit road. Wow, that's going to be interesting. Castro must have damage mechanically that's forced him into this early pit stop. So they're going to come out in quite a bit of traffic. These drivers do have one fast repair to their name. There's Castro. He's off and running again. He's going to come out in front of Perry, who's still stationary. So, Castro, your driver to watch, folks. He's going to come out. Where is he? Whoa, a bit, that was close there on pit exit, but he's going to come out down in 33rd, but he's the highest driver to a stop so far. His fuel will get him home to the end, but he's gonna run makes this race heavy. Tough day at the office as the track steams through. Les Plaver now controls it in second, the Czechia driver.
You can see another car damaged there, a bunch of cars with war wounds now. It's just, it hasn't been any major incidents besides that big crash that we saw back on lap 2, I believe it was, or lap 3, around that very early stage of this race. But we haven't had too many offs so far this race. I say that, I believe Payne has had some kind of off as he is dropping through the field right now like a rock. You can see him shuffling down the order right now in P23. And yes, as I say that, John Payne there involved in some kind of major incident. There's another driver off there. I believe that's I believe that to be Jacobson right up ahead. The other driver racing in S1, he has been involved in this incident. We're going to see what in the world happened here. Oh, there's Payne just having a massive slide there, coming through turns 6 and 7. That's a very tricky corner to get right. This is a very frustrating section if you're a driver, and yeah, just, oh man, that's unfortunate. Just a quick little mistake there, just small little bit of contact, and it ends in absolute disaster for those two drivers.
Bavini and Jacobson into the pits. That's right. Who we've got in that battle? There was Castro involved. There's Jacobson in the pits. Favini getting going again once more. He came off a little better from that one. He comes out. Oh, there goes James Walker. Someone else who's been enrolled. Oh, he's out onto the grass. Well, that's Antonio Race out onto the. What's he doing out there?
That's an interesting line there, yes. Going down the start-finish straightaway.
Yes. Not sure about that one, but maybe just testing some of that new off-track physics, although Antonio a little bit late to the party on that one. We've been around for a little while now, nearly a month in fact. Whew, where has the time gone? So, sit rep, let's observe things. So, Pinero leads a 9.7 seconds run. The Italian leads by. There he is, and well, you can see it's the bulk of the length of the front straightaway. Let's play the second. It's Green, Mayer, Renders, West, Tabino, and Danta still in that front group. Lynn 1.2 seconds behind. He's in 9th. Then it's Overstreet, Kabanka, Gartini all caught up in that group. Marnie still leads Masters though, amazingly. He's moved from 2nd down to a 13th now. That's about 1.2 seconds advantage over Adam Bradshaw, 2nd in class. Tom Gradwell picking up the places into 20th now and 3rd in Masters. In terms of Spec 2, though we are looking at Josh Justice, then Caleb Pocock and Ian Gibson making up that little podium in Spec 2. I mean...
Yeah.
It feels like we've done a lot more than, well, just shy of 17 minutes, Ron.
Yeah, it's been action-packed all throughout this race, and just so many storylines to follow, and one of them that I've been keeping my attention on as you went through the field was how you mentioned how Manny was still in the lead of everything. He made contact with Jason Perry through that exact corner a few laps ago, and he's now going, Perry is going side by side now with Payne. Payne had a disastrous run at this section of the track a few moments ago, and Perry also had some incidents there a couple laps ago, and he had an incident with Manny. And I think the reason why Manny has dropped back so badly is not just because of the slide he had, but the fact he hasn't really recovered any of that time is I think he might have some form of damage on that Spec Racer Ford race car. I think he might have some bent sheet metal, I feel, would probably be the reason why he is slow right now. He's about he's actually pulled away from Bradshaw. The gap was down to about a half a second, but I believe Bradshaw made some kind of mistake last lap because he's actually dropped back now. So Manny is kind of in a pack all on his own. Gardini right now is very far up the road, and Bradshaw is very far down the road. So he's kind of the man all alone on his island right now. So he's kind of in a fight of his own, and Pinero is as well right now, extending that gap to about 10.5 seconds. I gotta wonder, his fuel mileage must be pretty shocking, all things considered, because besides an occasional lap car here and there, he has been having to go through that undisturbed air, and I'm sure that fuel mileage in that Spec Racer Ford is probably suffering as a result.
You know, I think there's a few of them right now, Ron. That element of racing has just gone out the window. So right on board with Kurt Nunes. There's Chris Redman, the Brit in front of us. He's had a cracking debut so far. He's up 16 places, Ron. And that is eclipsed by Flavio Andalo. He's up 22. And also, Bradford Gould is up 19. Yeah, that's how we roll in the Weekend Warriors. That's how we roll.
A lot of drivers cutting through the field like a hot knife through butter right now. This is some very good driving from a lot of these drivers, but on the reverse end, a lot of drivers have fallen through the order with some kind of incident or mistake. So just definitely a mixed bag of races right now. Some drivers have had fantastic races so far, despite being just a tick over 19 minutes in, and other drivers have had some really bad races so far, but there's still plenty to play for here. We have a lot of pit stops coming up, so anyone watching in the YouTube chat right now, stay tuned, because I think this is going to heat up even more.
Just do away with the word think, Rob. Just do away with it. I mean, we've still got pit stops, pit strategies to think about. We've still got the race to the line to think about, and there's closing few laps, and we're not even halfway through yet. We're seconds away, 15 seconds. Right, so Dudu Castro, bit of a sit rep now, folks. Yangshi Lin popping into the pits very early on by his normal strategy standards. Castro's the highest driver who has pitted, although be interesting with him and Lin where they're going to come out, well, in relation to one another. Because Castro, I get the feeling, may well... No, Lin's heading out of his pit box. So, where is Dudu Castro? Keeping up. Eyes peeled to the right, folks. There he is. You see that Taxico by CK livery. It stands up at Country Mile. And they're coming through. Well, there's your freight train, Ron. He's closing. Can he get the move done? He's going to have to go around the outside. And they're going to go 3 wide into 1. And hold tight, everyone, as John Payne sticks him around the outside. Can he do Castro? Yes, he can. Can he do Lin? Well, maybe quite not, but he's kept his nose in here as we run up the hill now to the fast left-hand of this wagon bend, and he has to slot in behind Lin, but that's not what Castro would have wanted, and neither Perry, who's involved in this group too.
There's also some contact farther behind between Castro and Barry, but never mind that. We got Payne slowing quite badly coming through turn 4 there. That's not really a corner where you want to be very slow. I wonder if he picked up a slowdown possibly coming out of turn 3. I've certainly done that in the past, running into the gravel, albeit that's not a mistake you can make now with the updated physics. But now we've got Tabino in. He pulls in from that front pack, so he pulls into the pit. So I think in the not too distant future, I think we will see some of the drivers up towards the front pulling in. They have to pit before lap 30 is really, not lap 30, before the minute 30 mark. That's when all of these drivers will have to make their pit stops, unless anyone stretches it out quite nicely, anyone that pitted earlier with damage. But I think at this stage of the show, I think that the pit stops are going to play a critical role, and I think we'll have most of the top 10 pit very soon here.
hate to disagree with you, Ron, but I'm not so sure. I think what they're going to be doing is just keeping half an eye on that group of Castro, Sabino, Lynn, and Perry. That's the danger point for them and what they're doing. They're sensible, which they are. They'll be working together and pushing each other along, slipstreaming with one another to make up time, to negate the fact they're running with a heavier car for longer in this race. Well, I say that, actually Lynn's got about nearly a second over Perry already, who's just actually, in fact, he's just got ahead of Castro, if my eyes do not deceive me. So yeah, that for me is that's the pivot point in this race, what this group of 4 can achieve. We know Jason Green is the master of fuel strats, but he's got no one to sit behind. He's the leader of that group, so maybe it won't work out of him. And who's that in? Caleb Pocock from 23rd. Alan McCain into Nick Carty as well.
A lot of drivers pulling in right now, but I think that's a good point that you mentioned there. I think it'll definitely be a reactionary series of pit stops that we'll have. Anyone doesn't want to get overcut or undercut. We saw a overcut work out quite well in the Formula Ford race earlier today. So I think these drivers will definitely come into the pits not really out of instinct or their own peace of mind. They'll probably just come in seeing another driver pull into the pits and being like, okay, I'm joining him as well. So it's I think that will definitely be how things turn out here. We'll just have to wait and see. This is definitely, there's still plenty to play for here, and the order that you see on the left hand side of your screen with the SDK graphics is going to change quite significantly, I feel, between now and the checkered flag.
Good news, Ron. You've only got 16 minutes away to find out how this one is going to fold here from round 3 of the SRF Weekend Warriors. Live on Apex Racing TV every Sunday night, or if you, well, for our Australian viewers, Monday morning. So, well, Brad Cathcart, Tom Bradwell up every morning before work to come and race here in the Weekend Warriors. So there's Lopez in the pit lane. He's well, he's had a good start, hasn't he? But he's going to fall through the order. So at the moment, your highest position gamer, Flavio and Darlo. So there's Shannon Longin heading in down to pit row. He's at 23 spots, but he's going to lose a few of them due to drivers who have already stopped. As there is Andalo on your screens right now. But that top group, that peloton, that chasing group, they've settled down, definitely. It seems like they've settled in, Ron, and realised they need to work together here. As Arnie's back up to 7th. They'll probably be about right. No, they'll be about right, because we've had Lynn, Castro, Perry, Sabino, all pits, who were in front of him after his, incident.
Yeah, I think that has to be the reason why he has had a very challenging race. At one point was a rolling roadblock, then was creating a bit of a smoke screen effect for some of the cars, but has now made it up into the top 10, so it's a decent position right now that Manny is in, but things are definitely going to change between now and the checkered flag. But even though the action has settled down a little bit, it is not like it's boring here. Manny is looking for the move here on Gardini going into turn 1, gets a move done before they even hit the brakes going into 1. So that is a nice move there, fairly textbook stuff there from York Mani. And just a lot of drivers just ticking down the laps at this stage. I mean, the first 20 minutes of this race was action-packed. He said around the 16-minute mark. And it felt like we did commentate a race that was far longer than 16 minutes, and I can agree with you on that. And it's just been action-packed from start to finish, even though it has cooled off a little bit. But I think it'll definitely heat up a little bit once the pit stops come. We'll have to think of that strategic side of things to see if anyone could pull off the overcut, anyone pulls off the undercut. Just so many things to keep our minds on in the next 10 minutes.
Panera's in. Sorry to cut across you there, Ron. Our leader into pit road. I mean, early on, realistically, I would have thought he would have gone at least another lap, maybe 2. He's popping into pit road here. Let's see where he comes out. I mean, he's going to come out in the lead. Net. Because I don't see him. I mean, Lynn's been on fire, but even so, he's not been setting similar lap times to Panero. Just is heading to pit road 2. So Jason Green, your new leader. His Plaver, Mayer, Renders, West and Dantas for company behind him. So, where has Panera come out? He's come out in 11th there, Ron. So he is well clear of Lynn, who was the highest driver who had pitted so far. And the gap between them, I hear you ask, that is around about 14 seconds.
I was just looking at my at the live timing to see what the gap was. So about 15, we'll say 25 seconds that these drivers lose in the pits. So we'll have to keep keep an eye on that gap there to see if it goes down, goes up, whatever it does here between Panero and the leader before green comes in, which I assume would come in the not too distant future. I'm sure he'll try and clock some laps in the lead, but I'm sure he'll probably be pulling in due course. So that will be a big thing to keep our eye on to see how Panero can maintain that gap right now. Okay, so green is not pulling in this time. I don't believe anyone from that pack has pulled in this lap, so maybe next lap, maybe the lap after, we'll just have to wait and see. But now there's Monty pulling in. So Monty from P10, actually no, he was running farther up the field. He was running in P8, so that was a good recovery from him. He makes it up to P8 before he falls into the pit, so he'll probably drop down. Let me try and work out the math here. So he'll probably drop down to, I believe, outside the top 20, so this will hurt Monty, but he had to come in eventually, and unfortunately for him, that'll really end his chances of contending for a decent result here. But that's a fairly quick pit stop, all things considered. He is in 19th right now, and actually exits in 19th, so never mind. I was expecting him to exit outside the top 20, but he still stays in the top 20, but only just.
Lost time, though, to Claudio Gardini, his fellow countryman, who came out just behind him. So, about the tune, about 3 seconds or so. There goes Tom Gradwell, back out on track. Jeff Fritcher just slipping on by there in the 943 machine. So, Fritcher now up to third in Masters. So, have a little bit of a workout. Where are we at with everyone in terms of the other classes? So, Josh Justice, he leads Spec 2. Viglini second, Ian Gibson third in that category. Masters, well, Bradshaw leads at the moment as all Green and Overstreet into the pits. So, I said about him, yeah, he's always got a fuel strategy, Jason Green, but no one, as I said before, to slipstream with. I mean, he's in early. Mean that Plaver, Mayer, Renders, Western Dantes all carry on again into the pits. Bradshaw, Redman and Kabanka in 2. Redman's on fire. He was at 26. That's going to change a little bit since he has pitted. So, what is that gap? Well, if anything, Panero is still going faster than Plaver and Co. in that lead group. Well, it's technically the lead group right now, although after pit stops, they will lose that. And I think it's going to be very close. Looking at where Jiangxi Lin is. So Green came in from the lead, and he's come out behind Bradford Gould, who hasn't stopped, who is behind Lin. I think Lin's made this one work. It was bold, it was early, it was ballsy, but he's getting the job done.
Yeah, just he's been very sneaky in this race. You could say we haven't really paid too much attention to him besides some battles here and there. But as you pointed out, I think he's put himself in a very good position to get a great result here. Of course, a whole lot to play as some of the leaders are actually coming in. Pleva is in as well. So the drivers up ahead are starting to pull in. So I think in the not too distant future, we'll get a better idea as to how the grid is shaping up for the final 10 minutes. But I think this is some very intriguing stuff right now.
Young Money leads Masters. He is 16th. Bradshaw, 19th overall, second in class. Fritcher, third in class, 23rd overall. As you mentioned, Renders, West, Plaver, and Darlow. Bradford Gould in 2. As there goes Lynn. And yeah, he's done it. He's got the jump on them all. Look at that, Ron. And there goes Jason Green siving his way through. Saw a gap between Renders and West and slipped his way. Wow, I mean, I tell you what, it's like he was on a slip and slide. It was fully coated in washing up liquid. He just slipped through there with ease. No pressure. Job done. But he's in hot pursuit of the hunt that is Jiangxi Lin, 8 tenths in front of him. And we still can't
slip and slide
out.
there.
Oh, well, we still can't factor out Mayer and Dantas. That's a bit close there. Tabino now, he's flying along. Dantas is in. Simon Mayer going again. Going farther than anyone in the rest of the field.
some more side-by-side action. Actually, we've got two bits of side-by-side action here. That's the battle between Mayer and Panero. Actually, no, wait, no, that's actually lap traffic there.
Yeah.
I got all my cars confused there. I saw Panero there, then I saw the gap. I was like, 12 seconds. That can't be right. So that's Panero. Actually, no, that's Mayer. I'm getting all my names confused. This is so chaotic in this race that I'm getting all kinds of confused. I'm getting all kinds of kerfuzzled, you could say. But we got some more side-by-side action as these drivers file out of the pits. One thing that you got to keep in mind is how long these drivers can try and get their tires into the optimum tire temperature. And a track like this, you definitely have a lot of load going through them, so the tires can heat up quite quickly. But to have very cold tires coming out of the pits, especially through these first few corners, it is very tricky. So some of these drivers are trying to contend with some cool off tires as they're exiting the pits. But right now we've got some more battling, a bit of train action, not as badly of train action as we saw towards the start of this race, but still some very close stuff here. Nearly contact there as Green nearly got hit up the backside there by West.
West was almost cannonballing there, wasn't he? Coming down through the chute and got it stopped in time, evaded Green. Mayer's in finally on lap 25. Simon Mayer heads to the pits, the German driver. So where will he come out? I mean, he was saying some fast lap times, and that last lap lights up the rears. I just saw Yang Jilin come around the final corner, out of the corner of my eye. There goes Mayer. Here comes Lin and co. But are they going to be travelling fast enough? Can Lin get it done? What's Mayer going to do? Is he going to hug that inside? No, he's got time. And Lin has a look, but he's too far back. He even to try and be the last of the late breakers. And Simon Mayer pulls off the strat. He started third, and right now he's second, and he's leading the best of the rest pack. It is Mayer, Lin, Dantas, Green, West, and Renders. But
I'm really struggling to find the words at this point. There's so many intriguing storylines going through this. You have drivers trying to cut through the field. You have other drivers trying to make the most of it, and certainly a man that has made the most of it so far is Panero, catching up to lap traffic. But even if he gets caught in lap traffic badly, he could probably go through 15 cars and he would still have a fairly comfortable lead right now, 11.3 seconds. But this race, despite having fairly runaway winner in Panera, obviously hasn't crossed the start finish line yet, so knowing my luck, I probably just jinxed him. But just even though it's had a runaway race winner, this has been absolutely fantastic stuff here on the Spec Racer Fords.
Another part of the Venn danger diagram right now, Ron, is if this chasing group start battling like we're about to see down in turn 1, Yang Jilin heading through, Bobby West looking aggressive on Jason Green. He's going to get that move done. They're going to slow up a bit. 3 seconds down the road is the next group as well. They avoid a bit of contact there. We all breathe in for them. Yeah, that's Sabino, Perry, Castro, Plaver group. Oh, don't discredit them. Don't rule them out, because they're wise. They'll know that when they start battling in front of them, which they're going to, we've got 5 cars fighting at over 2 places on the podium. This little gaggle, they'll come back into the equation. I mean, time is running out. 4.5 minutes left on the clock here from Summit Point in round 3. But they'll pick up the pieces. Don't you worry. And it's down to 2.9.
These drivers will find any sort of way. They will resort to any kind of tactics they need. They race each other extremely hard, but it's also very respectful racing between these drivers. That's something you'll love to see. Sometimes you see hard racing, not too respectful. Other times you see respectful racing, which is pretty boring to watch. But this has that perfect balance of these drivers treating each other with the utmost respect. Most of these drivers race each other week in and week out, so just treating each other with a lot of respect, but giving no quarters out on the racetrack. And right now, Yanxi Lin is trying to hold off Mayer, who's also going side by side with Dantas going into 1. These two nearly made contact last lap there with a pretty significant curb hit there from Dantas, who I believe has actually gone off coming out of the corner. He dropped it, I believe, going into the going into turn 2. He went into the grass there, I believe, so Dantes has actually fallen back now. He's lost a couple spots, but still just very hard racing right now, and this is a very good pack right now. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars that you can cover a blanket with right now. This is some incredible stuff with about 3 minutes left in this race.
Bad news. Perry, Cashew, Sabino, and Plaver. Sorry, we were in that group, but less Plaver. I've started battling. So, I think that rules them out of closing up, especially seeing the clock's like now, under 3 minutes remaining run. So, we've got about three laps to go here. And look, they're all coming up on a group of traffic. Those drivers that have raced in multi-class endurance will know how to deal with this far better than the drivers who haven't. That traffic management element is going to be so crucial.
Yeah, that will definitely play a massive role. There's so many things that play an effect into that. It's just trying to figure out when to catch up to the lap traffic. That was a very big moment with lap traffic there. I'm not sure who that was that went wide there, had multiple lockups coming into turn 1. But that's one thing as well, just trying to manage your runs, figure out when you want to catch up to the lap traffic, and just seeing the relative, trying to think when you will catch up to the lap traffic and planning accordingly. But right now they are trying to lap a gaggle of cars. About 3 cars to kick off this lap. This driver up ahead, I'm not sure who that is there. One of the back markers there. Oh yeah, runs wide there. So that'll be a very tough rejoin there. Nearly contact as he rejoined there. But yeah, just three cars that they had to get past, and it's brought this battle even closer. I'm sure Yanchi Lin was looking at those cars ahead and being like, please just run yourselves off the track so I can have an easier run to get past. But that's one big thing that'll play an effect into this battle, and it has right now. But I believe they will be mostly traffic free throughout the rest of this race, so it's going to be a straight up dogfight between now and the checkered flag, which I believe we're actually going to be taking the white flag not this time by, but next time by. So we've got a few laps left in this fight, so it's going to be a straight out it's going to be a dogfight here, and it's going to be amazing to watch.
I think it's going to broadline turn into a bit of a street fight here. As we said, we have got 6 cars involved in a fight for the podium places. The last 2 up for grabs. Panera's checked out. Bar disaster. He will win this one. West has dropped a couple. He's down to 5th. I've just seen on the timing tab. There is your leader, Marco Panero. 12.3 seconds, and that time is only going to grow the more the cars behind him start to battle. Although where he is on track, this might even be the last lap. Potentially. It's going to be close this run. I'm not sure. I mean, if it is, I didn't see the white flag out. It's going to be very, very close. Wouldn't it be the first time we've been called out by this? But no, he's going to be okay. He's going to be okay. Our producer Josh just confirming that on my ear as well. So when he comes across the line, there it is. Barney waves it. White flag, 1 lap left to go. He's cruising home to victory here. What is happening? There they are, the train. They snake left. They snake right across the track. Lynn conducting that long train as they move back across onto the left-hand side, onto the racing lane. Has to cover off the inside. May having a bit of a look. Here comes Dantas late on the brakes. Tries to make up one.
Oh, no!
There's Dantas. He's around. He takes West with him. Green slowed up too. Renders goes through, but it's now Lynn versus Mayer. Oh, big contact there.
Yeah, Dantas has rejoined there after that incident. Definitely sandwiched a lot of drivers, and the driver of the pink car, not sure who that was. I believe that I might have been making over. Yeah, that's Justin Perry. My apologies, but man, that's such a shame. That really wasn't. What can you do? It's just very hard racing, and Perry has a very bent up race car right now, missing the front end. Steering's a bit off kilter, but he's still going to try and bring it home for this final lap here to just bring it to the checkered flag.
I think Lynn's looking good here right now, Ron, because he's got 7/10 the advantage over Mayer. Bit of traffic going to slow him up. There goes Panero. He's going to take victory here in round 3. Congratulations to him of what's going to be his 2nd win of the season. Yang Ji Lin looking good, though. He brings it home in 2nd to make it 3 podium finishes from 3 for the Chinese driver. 2 seconds and a first Simon May, his first podium of the season. Congrats to him. Renders 4th, then it's Green. And I think there was a swap around there. I think Castro, no, Plaver beat Castro at the line. Yes, he did by 2 tenths. Right, what's happening behind them? Gardini's just lost 2, 3, 4 places. I think he's had a bit of an incident somewhere. Yeah, he's run out of fuel in these dying stages, and he tumbles through the order. As there comes McCain, Gold, Jacobson, all making it past, and he could even lose more.
Oh, that's such a shame. Just a small, simple little miscalculation there, and it costs him badly. That's always heartbreaking to run out of fuel in the final stages of a race. So, as you see a driver farther back trying to jump and failing, but oh man, you gotta feel bad for him. That's unfortunate. Oh my God, we've got cars flying all over the place. As I'm trying to talk about how heartbreaking it is to run out of fuel on the last lap, we've got cars flying all over the place.
Now, I will give Brad Cathcart for that barrel roll I'm going to give him an 8.4. Would have scored higher if you hadn't have wedged the car on. Yeah, there you go. You're seeing it. That car's stricken. He's wedged that, beached it on the bit of banking there. However, John Payne, I'm going to give him a slightly higher score. He's going to get an 8.7. Feeling like Barstool Sports here with their One Bite Pizza scoring system, because he slotted it casually, being completely and utterly out of control and airborne. As Jason Green getting pushed home there by Megan Overstreet. Although they've already finished, so it's not too bad. Yeah, he managed to slot it between 2 cars while being airborne.
Ooh. Yeah, that's beautiful moves there. I'll rate all of them a B for the Blue Angels are hiring. And I think we might see the slowest attempt at a jump in the world here with Megan Overstreet and Josh Green. They go into the infield section and disappear from our screens. That was nice camaraderie there from Megan Overstreet to push Green across the line. We've got some more drivers trying to push each other. So we've got some nice camaraderie here on the Weekend Warriors race here on Spec Racer Forge, just for these people to get a chance to do the jump. I know that was one of the first things I ever saw in iRacing was someone doing the jump here at Summit Point, so I know the fun that is, especially to cap off a brilliant day of racing. Ooh, there's one going airborne, doesn't stick the landing, lands basically head first. That's in real life they'd be done for, but thankfully we're here in the sim, albeit their car is toast. I'm sure these iRacing fabricators are not very happy with these drivers.
Wow. I think that's everyone across the line. We should be able to bring you some classified results imminently. I can tell you, well, it's drama-filled all the way. Marco Pinero with the victory. But it's what happened behind him that was the interesting point. Yang Lin second, Simon May up third to round out your podium. There's Renders, Green, Tabino, Plaver, Castro, Dantas and Overstreet to round out your top 10. Just look at how close they were at the line. Westfish is 11th. Yugmani's like, well, losing it from second place, finishes at 12th and wins Masters. Then we've got Perry, Bradshaw, 14th overall, second in Masters. There's Andalo, Pritchard, who was 16th and running up that Masters podium, Dan Wood. Excuse me, Chris Redmond, 18th, 19th. That was your winner. Spec 2, Josh Justice. Ken Nunes running out top 20. There's Gradwell, Lopez, Gould, McCain, Jameson, Gardini. Gibson, second in Spec 2, 27th overall. John Payne, 28th. And then Lucas Clement, who didn't really see so much of in this race, but bags Spec 2 podium position number 3 in 29th. Brad Cathcart, 30th. Kabanka, Jackson, Mitchell, Cantor, Laughlin, and Fabini rounding up the drivers on the last lap at 37th. And first of the drivers one lap down was Walker, Funnison, Kern, Thorpe in 40th, then Warbolt, Vaglini. Nick Carty was 2 laps down, so was Turricio. Then we're into the retirements. William Sarkowski lost on lap 26, Kevin Pocock on lap 24, Antonio Race on lap 15, Fabio Scali lap 12, George Camillo on lap 6, and Russ Lundberg did not make the start. Let's have a bit of a chat to some of our drivers quickly, as already in, well, I'll say that, already in overtime. They're waiting for the first time ever. I'm in automatic auto, but they can't get over it. I can't get over what we've just witnessed. Ron, can you?
No, not really, no. This is my second ever Spec Racer Ford broadcast. We did it 2 seasons ago together at Road Atlanta, and that was a fantastic race to cover. And in my time off here in the series, nothing has changed because that was absolutely brilliant stuff to watch. And anyone that wants to watch some more action like that, you know where to find us here on Apex Racing TV to tune in 1 week's time.
Couldn't have said it any better myself there, Ron, and we will be at Sandown. Never been there before, never commentated from there before, but I know it's high speed, I know it's fast and furious, and there'll be a big grid as ever here in the Weekend Warriors. Thank you very much for joining us, everyone. I've been Tim Cox with Josh Wilkie and Ron Mouse sitting in for Charles Bichelle. Thanks very much for joining us, and we will see you in a week's time. We'll be live from Sandown in the Spec Racer 4s. We'll be from Mosport for the Formula 4s. Have a good week, everyone. We'll see you then.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com.